The Predator Poachers team recently spent 24 hours in Utah and say they confronted 4 suspected online predators. One of them was on parole and confronted at his halfway house in Salt Lake City. Now that man is now back at the Utah State Prison, but Department of Corrections officials say the confrontation process itself is very concerning to them, and they call groups like Predator Poachers nothing more than vigilantes. Vigilante is a characterization Alex Rosen strongly denies. Rosen is the 26-year-old founder and driving force behind Predator Poachers.
We're just a community watchdog group. We travel nationwide catching online child predators.
He says his recent trip to Utah resulted in a confrontation with parolee Chase Quinton at the Fortitude halfway house in Salt Lake City.
So like a week and a half ago, I downloaded an app. I had gotten high on that.
Did you report that app to cops or tell them you had the app?
No, I ended up chatting with a couple girls that were underage.
Prison officials say Quinton was on parole for enticing a minor over the internet and had been at Fortitude after his release from prison last December. He was undergoing sex offender treatment, and according to the Department of Corrections Deputy Executive Director Spencer Turley, doctors said he was doing well enough to earn the privilege of having a phone. However, he was not supposed to be downloading apps without approval. After the Predator Poachers confrontation, an officer took his phone. Investigators say Quinton was ultimately found to have violated his parole and sent back to prison.
Violations of parole happen routinely. This wasn't uncommon for us to address.
But according to Turley, the way they learned about this violation is what's concerning. Turley says the viral confrontation may make for great online content, but he goes on to say that given his fairly strict supervision, Mr. Quinton would have eventually been caught.
If he's out there actively engaging in sexual conversations online, I have no doubt we would have caught it. How soon, how quickly, all of those things, I don't have an answer to that.
Turley goes on to say they're also concerned about possible altercations that could occur during these video confrontations.
I'd say this is a decently big risk, but it's a risk we're willing to take, and I think the results and the communities we've helped speak for itself.
Spencer Turley says while that sounds noble, they would prefer any potential evidence be handed over to investigators first.
And let us do the investigative piece so that we can ensure that there's cases that are filed in the end.
But in the end, and in particular in this case, Alex Rosen says the end justified his means.
We just gather evidence of online predatory activity that we know breaks multiple state laws with whatever state they're in. Then we just gather it and usually get a confession on camera, which we did in these cases, and report it all over to law enforcement.
In Salt Lake City, Scott McCain, Fox 13 News, Utah.